Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Geico 15-Minute Moto Show. I'm Ralph Shaheen, your host. So, if you were to name the guys on the Mount Rushmore of dirt track, flat track racing, who would you pick? Well, obviously, you got Carr and Springer and Parker and this guy, Jared Mees. Jared, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Good, Ralph. How are you?
I'm well. Are you comfortable with that being named already? You haven't even retired yet, and here I am sticking you on the Mount Rushmore. You okay with that?
Oh man, anytime you can have your name mixed up with those three is a truly an honor. So yeah, I'm very honored to hear that.
So, like I said, you're still racing. You're still in the hunt for championships. You're right at it again this year. You're winning races still. You might not just be on the Mount Rushmore. By the time you're done, you might be the first name. What do you think of that?
Man, that's a tall order. But we're plugging away, like you said, year after year, and trying to knock out as many wins and hopefully get another couple championships before I do put the R word out there of retirement. So plugging away at it, but being at the very top, that's going to be a tall order.
How long do you think you can go in flat track racing these days with the way guys train much differently now than the three previous guys that I mentioned ever did? How long do you think you can extend this career?
Well, I'm 35 as we speak, and a lot of the greats went into their early 40s. I'm not sure if I'll go that long or longer. I really don't have a set time frame. There's just a lot of variables, in my opinion, that have to put in play. Of course, having fun, financially still worthwhile doing, and then being competitive. So as long as all three of those are checked off the list at the start of the year or end of the year, I should say, to start the next year, I'd like to keep going.
And a big part of that is being involved with the right team. And so far, you've been able to do that. The three names that we mentioned all stayed with the factory all the way through their careers. And that's something that has to be in your mind, too, being able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, Parker definitely went all the way with the Harley factory team. And I think Chris Carr kind of did a little bit more of a privateer at the end, but he was definitely a big part of the factory early on in his career. And then he had, probably one of the biggest sponsors ever in the sport with the Ford Motor Company. And then, Springer did some hit or miss stuff. So, maybe, I don't know what the future is going to hold just yet for me. Maybe it's something where, I race to a certain point and then maybe take a year or two at the end, kind of like what Parker did, and just hit a few good ones that I always enjoy racing, because I mean, even like honestly, like right now today, I mean, there's some tracks that you go to that you just really don't enjoy the most anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, hey, it's on the circuit, I got to be there. And there's only a couple maybe out there, but honestly, I still enjoy racing every weekend, and I still enjoy the competitiveness, and I don't want to stop. Believe me, I want to keep going. So I don't have no set time frame in my mind at the moment.
Yeah, so now you've gotten into the promotion business as well, and you're up to a few now. You just added Springfield, one of the most legendary circuits on the tour, to your promoters list. Have you changed the track prep at the venues that you're working to fit your style more, what you look for in a track?
No, I actually haven't taken over Springfield just yet. 2022 will be the very first year that we start as the official promoters of the Springfield Mile. And to be honest with you, I don't plan on changing anything to do with the prep at the Springfield Mile. It's currently prepped very, very well, very consistent, unless of course we get weather. So I don't think I could personally make it any better. I'm just going to make sure it stays very good. When we took over the rights to the Lima half mile, I ran things very similar the very first year or two of how it's always been ran, and just kind of got, I guess more of a handle on it. I built some really good drags, like my third or fourth year into the promotion game there, and switched the chemical load a little bit of what we put on the track to control dust, and just kind of got a more of a handle on it. And I think the last 3 or 4 years of Lima have been one of the best we've seen over some time for sure. And I think a lot of the riders can vouch for that. And I don't really, try to make it better just for myself and my riding style. I think what's good for me is almost good for everybody. Lima, we don't want any dust. We want it to stay, somewhat of a cushion, and we want it to stay somewhat, moist and wet. I think everybody would agree with that. And that's what we're after.
So when you lay awake at night stressed out, are you stressed out about racing or promoting?
Promoting.
Really?
Oh my gosh, yeah, promoting. I mean, there's so many things that you cannot control with promoting that you try to control. And that's the kicker, right? Whether anymore, if there's a 40% chance of rain on a Monday and the race is Saturday, people start making other plans. And it's like, guys, it's 40% and it's Monday. You know what I mean? Like, we've got people calling wanting their money back because it's 40% chance of rain. It's like, guys, sorry, it doesn't work that way. And then all of a sudden, here comes Friday night and the weather blew out and it looks like 0% chance and we're green flag racing again. The ticket sales are back up. So I would say 100% promoting racing. I mean, racing is a consistent, what's the word I'm looking for? Just a consistent happening that I've done, since I was 5 years old, and I've been professional since I was 16. I'm 35. So for me, it's, there's no stress or pressure about racing really, that keeps me up at night. It's the same old, same old. I mean, yeah, of course, if we're last race going for the championship, 3 points separate one or another guy or something like that, of course you're gonna, it's going to be on your mind. But no, the promoting game is there's a lot more on the line to lose, I guess you could say.
So you got Lima, you got Springfield coming, and promoting is stressful. So how many more tracks do you add to the Jared Mees racetrack promoter bandwagon before you say, you know what, this is just gonna get too crazy from here?
Like I said, I don't really have a set number. I have another racetrack, the Hagerstown half mile, that I would actually like to try to bring back in the next couple years. I can maybe see that happening in 2023, depending on how everything goes with Springfield, the very first year that I do it in 22. And I may try to bring, Hagerstown back in 23 if it all fits. For me, it's not really a set number. It's just what makes sense, and what makes sense business wise, and what we can put our handle on, put our hands on. For me, racing currently and promoting now a few events, we need a little bit of a break between one to the next event. So last Saturday in June is the Lima half mile, and the very first weekend of September is usually Springfield. So that's a pretty good gap to kind of recoup from Lima to get prepared for Springfield. That's a big gap actually. So if I did Hagerstown, I kind of want to put it in the middle there, to break it up a little bit. But one weekend after another, I couldn't do while racing unless I started bringing on some more full-time employees to kind of take the load off me. And at that time, do you start calculating, is it worth doing these other races while you pay more employees? So,
Right.
like I said, I don't have a set number, but I have Hagerstown on my radar.
Well, the good thing is your wife Nicole is as much a part of this as you are, former flat track racer herself, and she understands this, and I'm sure she helps you quite a bit.
She does. She actually has the hardest role, and no offense to the fans that we have. We love them to death, but she has to tend to most of the fans prior to the race and the day of the race. And my role is more, trying to get the sponsorships gathered up, more or less set up of the outside of the venue, with banners and putting people in place and things like that, and controlling a little bit more of the workers. But I feel like she's got a little bit more of the tougher job with handling all the tickets and mailing the tickets and making all the phone calls back to the fans. And they miss her, she misses them, back and forth phone tag. So that to me would be a little bit more stressful than my part. So she definitely has the upper hand in the stressful department.
Yeah, you just got the name and the lights, right? That's
Yeah,
what it's all
exactly.
about. Big time star guy. So
Exactly.
what's the thrill for you when it comes to racing flat track? Is it the speed tucked down on the tank on a mile going down a straightaway? Is it sliding through the corner? Is it the bar to bar part? Where's the real adrenaline rush?
I mean, the adrenaline rush on the racetrack is you know, probably the slide and the sideways and the speed for the adrenaline. What does it for me is basically the end result of winning. You work so hard. I'm 35 years old, and I think it's changed throughout the years. But you get that taste of blood, I guess you could say, and the thrill of winning is what's so rewarding and what you work hard for. And you get injured or you get you have some bad races or whatever, it's like, man, it haunts you in your mind that, you're not being as successful as you want to be at that very moment, but you get back out there and you grind it out and you get back to the top. It's just like, oh, this is what I do this for. So for me, it's all about winning.
So, if I understood you correctly, you're saying winning itself has changed for you over the years as to what it meant when you were younger to what it means now?
Yeah, well, no, what I meant is like what really what really makes me, pushes me to keep going is winning. Like that for me is what it is. It used to be it used to be the speed and the fun, and I enjoy what I'm doing, and believe me, I enjoy what I'm doing, and it is fun. But I feel like it's mainly fun because you win. And that's, some people might take more like offense to that, or but it's just, I think it's just honest to God, it's the older you get, the more you want to keep doing what you've done in the past, when you're younger, because you don't want to like feel like you're getting old. So for me, winning is still what kind of like just keeps me chugging along.
Is the significance of the winning changing a little bit though? I mean, you're still doing it significantly, won a few this year in the title chase, but obviously, like you said, and you've said it whether you realize it or not a handful of times, you're 35. So you do see, there is a end point here at some point. Um, are they a little bit more meaningful for that reason now?
Yeah, I believe so. Honestly, my best years ever in my career were 2017 and 2018. I won 10 races and, won the championship with like 3 races early and grand slammed,
Yeah.
both those years, all 4 disciplines in one year, winning them all. I mean, those were like the highlights of my career. And, that's, those are very special moments, but I took them, I felt like I took a lot of them for granted, those wins. It was, I won, came in, did the podium, and it was like all that was on my mind is like, we're doing this again next weekend, and then next weekend, and the next weekend. And then, my dominance ran out just like anybody's is gonna. And now winning them is I feel like I soak them up a little bit more and try to enjoy, that time and that moment of winning them, because it's like, man, reality check here is, you're not going to go and win 10 races every year for the rest of your career. You're just not, and I was fortunate not only to have one, phenomenal, outstanding year, but two, somebody said that I was probably the only guy in history to ever win double digit numbers in a single season, which is phenomenal. So yeah, I mean, you start getting on that roll when you start getting that dominance rolling, and I think you just start kind of forgetting, what you're actually accomplishing, more or less just taking advantage of it. And now it's a little bit more, like I said, I'm soaking in it a little bit more. I'm not saying it's more rewarding, because a win is a win, right? But
Right.
I'm trying to soak it up a little bit more and enjoy it, because I know that my time is gonna run out like anybody's is, but in the back of your mind that you know you never know what's going to happen from week to week. So um guess you could say I'm getting a little wiser.
Well, so does that mean are you still just as quick, or are you more? I don't know if devious is necessarily the right word. A wily old veteran. Do you have more tricks up your sleeve now, or are you still just as quick as you ever were?
I mean, I think at some places I'm as quicker than I ever was. I think some of the miles, especially. Um, I noticed like some of the TT tracks. I don't quite send it as much as I probably used to. I'm not saying I'm a little bit conservative. I'm just, I don't know. I wouldn't say cautious either. I just feel like the TT game is a little bit more of a younger guy's deal, and they sent it and won it maybe a little bit more. And I'm still competitive on. I mean, spring or Peoria was last weekend. We got third, which is nothing to cry home about, right? But um, I used to go into Peoria, on the singles and in the early part of the twins with like, I'm as good as anybody here today, and they got to beat me. And I'm not saying I'm not as good as anybody there today, but I know going to the TTs that's my tallest order, So it's a hard question to answer. No one wants to say, "Hey, I'm slower than I used to be," right?
Right, but I guess there's different ways of winning now, right? Knowing what you know, you can be craftier, for example, in chasing this championship this year?
Yeah, trying to use a little bit of the experience that I've gained. We've got a lot of knowledge. I got a great, mechanic who's just now going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame, Kenny Tolbert. So we just try to use all our resources the best we can and come up with the best result on the day.
All right, well, there he is, Jared Mees. So look, if you're getting ready to go to an American flat track event on your calendar, think about Lima. He promotes that one, and in 2022, the Springfield Mile will be under his banner as well. And he'll certainly be battling for the championship all the way to the conclusion here in 2021. Jared, thanks for joining us here today.
Thanks, man. Have a good day.
Okay, you too. That's it for this episode of the Geico 15-Minute Moto Show. I'm your host, Ralph Shaheen. Don't forget, every week we have a new one for you right here on Speed Sport.